All right, folks, Logan Alex, CPA here, owner of Choice Tax Relief. Today we have an interesting question from someone who never filed their 2020 tax return. They were a DoorDash driver, that was their complete income, and now they're wondering what they should do. Here it goes. In 2020, I was driving for DoorDash as my sole income through the entirety of the year, in part due to the pandemic. When it came time to file in 2021, I input my 1099 and was set to owe about $400 after deductions. Not much now, but at the time I couldn't afford it. I prepared my return through TurboTax, and my naive self couldn't figure out how to submit my return without paying, so I never did. Fast forward to now, I'm sick of carrying the weight of knowing I never filed that 1 year. I've never received a letter from the IRS, so I believe that disqualifies me for the 2020 and 2021 pandemic relief. Not true. I plan to mail my return and make the initial $400 payment to the IRS this week. About how much should I expect to pay in penalties and interest? I've filed and received refunds every year before and since. Are there any forgiveness clauses for my situation? So, yes, Suitable Sky, you should file this return as soon as you can. You're gonna have to paper file your 2020 return at this point, because right now you can only e-file 21, 22, and 23 returns. You can only file the last 3 years of returns. So 2020, you are going to have to paper file. You're going to be looking at probably some penalties and interest on this return. So you're going to be looking at the failure to file penalty, which is 5% of the tax due on the return per month or part of a month that you failed to file the return. That penalty maxes out at 25%. Right, so it maxed out at about $100. Okay, so now we're up from 400 to 500. You're going to be looking at the failure to pay penalty. That penalty is 0.5% a month for every month or part of a month that you do not pay your required taxes due. This return was due in April, or the payment for your 2020 tax year was due in April 2021. It's been about, let's say, 3 years since then. So if you take 0.5% a month, that's about 6% a year times 3 years. That's about 18%. Let's say 20% to make the math easy, right? So there's another $80 right there. Now, because the failure to pay penalty and the failure to file penalty ran concurrently for the first 5 months, technically the failure to file penalty was reduced during the failure to pay penalty during that time period, but that's like nickel and dimes at this point, right? So we're at $500 for the failure to file. Then let's say $580, including the failure to pay. You're also going to be looking at interest here, right? That might be a few $100 bucks. Probably not that much. Interest rates have varied over the past few years. It's been about 3 years. Maybe $100 some, let's say, right? So look to maybe have about $700, right? That to put towards this bill once you file it. You bring up 2020 and 2021 pandemic relief. It sounds like you got the stimulus payments because you said that you filed and received refunds every year before and since. So you probably got those. There was the COVID kind of sick credit, right? If you couldn't work due to COVID. You don't need to receive a letter from the IRS about that to claim that. If that actually did affect you, you're being honest about that, you can look into that sick leave credit. About penalties and interest, right? Because I answered your question about how much should I pay in penalties and interest, but you said that you filed and received refunds every year before and since. Are there any forgiveness possible in this situation? The answer is yes. You'd probably be a good candidate for first-time abatement. So I would ask the IRS about that. If you qualify for first-time abatement, it would knock off that failure to file penalty, failure to pay penalty, and the interest on the penalties. It wouldn't knock out the interest on the underlying tax liability. So this sounds like a pretty straightforward situation. It sounds like you know what you need to do. Suitable Sky. And if you're watching this, I hope this is helpful to you. All right, folks. Thank you so much for watching. If you have unfiled tax returns, you got to file them. Or maybe the IRS is now demanding that you file them. Reach out to us at Choice Tax Relief. I also have some videos here on the left-hand side of the screen about what to do if you have unfiled tax returns. But like I said, you can reach out to us at Choice Tax Relief, fill out the form at choicetaxrelief.com, or give us a call, 866-8000-TAX. That's 866-8000-829. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.